Hi everyone, welcome in to your box seat, of course brought to you in association with Sweet Lou, standing at Woodland Stud. Some wonderful action there from Addington Raceway on Saturday. As I come to Craig the Whale Thompson, there was some terrific performances there on what was a difficult weather day. Evening to you.
Yeah, evening Greg, and to you Michael as well, and to the viewers as well. Super card, wasn't it? Embarrassment of riches for the Purdens with three trifecta in the main race and obviously the two-year-old race as well, but the undercard was strong. Probably the disappointment of the day, Heaven Rocks in the last, but they still got that with stroke of luck. Really like Saturday's card as a betting program, Greg, because I think a little bit stronger, a little bit more value there. We'll talk about that in the next 60 minutes.
And of course a whole lot of interest in terms of the late bloomers trying to get into the harness jewels. Michael Guerin, speaking of the jewels, the biggest news this week to come out is unfortunately a withdrawal of an Australian.
Yeah, sad news. Hi everybody at home. Hope you had a great start to the week. Arms of an Angel, who was the best chance fellas of an Australian victory ever in the duels so far. Miracle Mile place getter, trialled yesterday at Menangle, very poor by her standard. Led, stopped, the whole field went past her. 154 was her time. This is a horse who's gone 148. Checked out this morning, vet check. They believe she's got a virus. Not the news that Shane Tritt and Lauren Pinella wanted. They were in Hawaii getting ready to get married this week. They were coming back for the jewels. So she's out. So all of a sudden, this 4-year-old diamond market, which already has been affected by the Orange Agent being out with injury, and of course Fight for Glory being retired, massive recalibrator. We'll show you that now. Here's the new version. Well done to the bookies getting this out 9.72. Very even, lots of horses here who, if they had the right barrier draw, could change significantly in the market because, Craig, Arms of an Angel was better than these horses. Now, it's hard to say who the top dog is. Boys, if you had one pre-draw selection, who would it be in the much changed diamond market?
Well, it is a much changed diamond, and I think the draw will be critical. I think of the Southerners, I like Democrat Party. Of the Northerners, Lusty Mac trolled very well on Saturday. I mean, they've had a problem with her, but they're both backable. But I think there's 3 or 4 horses here that you can cover on as well if you're betting post the draw at the moment. But it'll be critical, Greg, from that mile start there. But gee, this is an open market now. Arms of an Angel at $1.45 at one stage, got out to $1.65, and look what's happened now.
Yeah, I think the key to this market will obviously be the barrier draws. I think you play a couple of them, maybe Rocker Band, very high gate speed, Lusty Mac, if she can get back to something like her best, and Democrat Party's already proven, at least at this level.
Yeah, I still think Better Be Amazed might be the best Cambridge horse in the race. Absolutely loves Cambridge, does have high gate speed. She gets her chance here, fellas. She's been a very consistent horse. Stonewall Stud looking for a Group 1 victory. That'd be huge for them. It's been a dramatic division, the 4-year-old division, of course. GTH Avros, first ever jewels winner in this division, huge odds. Kiwi Ingenuity changed the way we look at barrier draws for the 4-year-old mares when she just charged through and won on 152 and change. The Lovely was favourite around $1.50 for this division 4 or 5, 6 years ago. She pulled out mid-market, left Longcomb to win that, and of course Adore Me has one here as well. So it's always had something about it, the 4-year-old division. Now, guys, it's going to be one of those jewels races which isn't won by a superstar. I don't mind that.
No, I don't mind it either. Now, Michael, last week we had a look at winning streaks of horses, and yeah, you were at pains to tell us that we didn't have some footage of a couple of those. Well, you asked, Australia listened. We've got this for you.
Something about Maori's wider out, turning for home, take a moment led. Kimbo's only a neck away, and something about Maori. He's under pressure, take a moment. Something about Maori swamped him. The winning runner's over. Something about Maori hit the lead. Sammy Dogood charges to second, but the mare, Something About Maori's won it. Something About Maori, and one of the biggest upsets at Moonee Valley since Courage Under Fire in the world ended. Kaima Kid's into the clear. Courage Under Fire draws to OK Oscar. Kaima Kid could be the blowout. Courage Under Fire in front. Kaima Kid's grabbed him. Kaima Kid's going to win. The world must be ending. Courage Under Fire's got beaten. Kaima Kid's won it. Courage Under Fire second.
And of the 5 winning streaks we looked at, there is one common denominator here, Michael.
Dan Malecki was the caller for 3 of them. I've always been suspicious about changing colours. You know, sometimes you see horse races in colours where you sort of take a moment there, you get beaten, not in his colours. Ever since the All Blacks lost in Cardiff in 2011 wearing the grey jerseys, I'm always a little bit, not the Harness Jewels colours, they've got a great record, but any other time I see change colours.
Are we hoping that Dan Malecki's got tonsillitis coming if he's calling later in the program, if he's chasing that victory?
Well, I was actually, funny enough, talking about Moonee Valley, they've got some huge changes, Melton, these days coming up. We'll discuss those later on too, but yeah, Dan the Man's had some great New Zealand-based calls. They were probably great calls, but not great results. But that winning streak, obviously now we have a new horse at the 18 and over range, but lots to discuss.
We'll have a look at that later on. So what's ahead for you?
Coming up, dreams were sweet at Addington on Saturday as records tumbled, as the All-Stars found out more certainly was better when it comes to Premier Racing. Our reigning Horse of the Year was also back in the winner's circle to the delight of his connections and driver Dexter Dunn, whose brother John takes us to the beach later in the show as we learn about life in Woodend. The final jostling of position in the Harness Jewels Stakes ladder takes place this week, and we show you how the Tomlinsons are keeping it in the family. All that plus we look ahead to another big day of racing as Oaks Day looms in Canterbury, and the team will try to tip you into a winner or two.
So let's get straight back to Addington Raceway, and the Group 1 on the day was the 38th running of the Neville Fillies final. An intriguing battle it turned out to be. Let's get Mark Mack to bring them home.
Third quarter, 29.5. Dream About Me. Piccadilly Princess a length and a half away. Golden Goddess is not making an impression. Dream About Me is in front, holding Golden Goddess. And Dream About Me, sweet dreams all round. Dream About Me won it, beat Golden Goddess and Piccadilly Princess.
And by my reckoning, Mark Purdon, that'll be a new New Zealand record. This outstanding filly bounces back to winning form in a Group 1.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. No, it was a great run today, and I knew we were rolling all the way. I didn't know whether we would have gone a record, but I knew the time would have been pretty slick.
Talk us through the first 400 metres. Obviously, Golden Goddess got off the quickest. There was a bit of ducks and drakes. You had to look around. If you hadn't have pressed forward, you were going to get pushed an awfully long way back.
Yeah, that's what I thought, Greg. You know, although there was plenty of speed on and early, and I wasn't really in amongst it, so I thought it gives me an opportunity anyway to have a crack for the front and then take it from there.
Once she got there, she relaxed beautifully. Coming off the back, were you confident, knowing full well the package that was sitting directly behind you was such a good filly yourself?
Yeah, no, I wasn't, and even Piccadilly Princess, I respect her too. So the three of us were for 1, 2, 3.
First of 3 big battles, she takes the prize here, but it wouldn't surprise you at all that the others with a better run transit could go close to her in the next few weeks?
Oh, absolutely, Greg, yeah. No, there are 3 very good fillies, and it's really the draws and the runs that'll separate them.
So, of course, she was an embryo transfer foal, so that theory goes out the window of those not working to 18.1. So what about the drivers just in behind this outstanding filly?
Overall, pleased with Golden Goddess?
Almost definitely in that time. She did pull a bit hard, but her win when she won the other week, the other filly was a touch underdone, and then she reversed it tonight. The other filly's just a freak.
Everything heading in the right direction for next week with her?
Almost definitely. Yeah, everything in the right direction, then pressing on to the jewels. She's a great filly, just unlucky to run into Dream About Me.
Tim, I suppose the draw dictated you a little bit at the start?
Yeah, it certainly wasn't a help, but like you say, we got a card into it and had a chance, but she's gone terrific, and you can't take anything away from the 2 that beat her home, and looking forward to next weekend over the 2600.
Is that the plan, 2600 metres? Would you look to drive her somewhere similar? Do you think she's suited to that?
Yes and no. I think she's a very versatile filly, and like you say, she's she seems to be thriving. She's really picked up the last week. And Mark and Ellie have been really happy with her through the week, so as long as she comes through the run good, and like you say, leading into next week, it looks a good race for her.
You, in your opinion, do you think there's much between the 3 fillies?
Probably not a lot. Like you say, it might come down to draw and who settles in front of who, but like you say, I think could be the same 3 fighting it again next week.
Well, Zach, when the draws come out, I'm sure you were pretty pleased.
Yeah, it was always going to help us. She had to do a little bit of work out the gate, and just maybe took a little bit out of her going that quick time. So we're wrapped with her run. She's run 4th behind 3 very nice fillies, and couldn't be happier on to next week.
2,600 metres, do you think that'll be up her alley with a good draw also?
Oh, definitely. You can't say she'd be out of it. She's an honest wee filly, and she's always going to go a good race, but a good draw is going to help us, so that's what we're going to hope for, and a little bit of luck in the running next week.
Maddie, considering where you were drawn, that was a massive run to finish 5th.
Yeah, she's gone really good, and you know they've run a great time. So yeah, she's done really well to keep sticking on. You know, Perd and 3 are just too good, but yeah, she's as good as any of the others.
Onwards to next week, 2,600 metres. She's proven against the older horses. It should be up her alley.
Yeah, she's just going to need a draw to you know, get on the rail and stay handy to them. 2-6, they'll probably still outmuscle us a bit probably, but you know, Jules, if we can get a good draw, that's probably more our best chance of beating them this season.
So they were the beaten drivers from the Neville Fillies final, but let's go to the talking point of the race and the tactics in terms of where these horses settled. Here's coming around the bend the first time into the home straight. Golden Goddess showed exceptional gate speed, as we expected, to lead. Now, Dream About Me wasn't quick off the gate. Mark said he hadn't really pressed the go button before. There's the first look. He has a look around, sees there's a 3-wide train. He has a rather elongated look very shortly, and it's almost a double look. There we are, circling. Nice work from Glenn Bourne, our producer today. And he has and then almost a double take, Michael, to go right. There's a 3-wide train here. If I don't press forward and get the lead, I could end up back of midfield.
I think when Mark came to sit parked, I think he was quite comfortable to go and sit parked. As we saw with Lazarus in the Sire Stakes final, sit there, control the race and see what happens. But once he looked around and that very elongated look, clearly he thought, if I sit here, A, there's going to be too much pressure, or B, if I do concede that spot or cede that spot, I'm going to get pushed back in the field. So, look, you do get the element there because of this huge betting move for Golden Goddess, and we'll discuss that in a second, of, well, is that 10 driving? Why would she hand up? I'll put my hand up here. 2 things. First of all, I was wrong. I tipped Golden Goddess absolutely everywhere. Could not see her beaten on their previous start, and I'm probably Dream About Me's biggest fan. I love the horse. But she was so good, Golden Goddess, beating her the start before. So dominant, I could not be on Dream About Me to beat her. So, like all of us, I tipped it, we pushed the price in. Had they been $1.10 Dream About Me, $6 Golden Goddess, would you still have been surprised by the hand up? The other thing is, I had a huge bet, a big bet, on Golden Goddess. I thought she was going to win. At this stage, I still thought she was going to win. I was more than comfortable with Natalie's drive. On their previous start form, Golden Goddess should have run straight past Dream About Me right here, and she didn't. She underperformed by my reckoning about 2 lengths, and I think Dream About Me overperformed on her previous start by about 2 lengths. Is there going to be a factor in harness racing where stablemates are more likely to hand up to each other than horses from other stables? Of course they are. That happens everywhere from Manawatu to Addington to Melton to Yonkers. That's part of life. I wasn't uncomfortable with Natalie's drive, and I had a significant bet on Golden Goddess. That's all I can say about it. There'll be people out there who are uncomfortable with it. I do think that there's been a re-establishment here, fellas, in the pecking level. I think the start before may have been an aberration. Did that mean Dream About Me was underdone? Maybe it was, but most horses are fresh up to a new campaign. Craig, what did you make of it?
Well, I think what happened in the race at around about that point where we highlighted, I think Mark Purton was looking for Piccadilly Princess. And when Amazon Lily was on the spot of his back, that changed his whole modus operandi. He thought, I'm not going to let Amazon Lily go. I would have let Piccadilly Princess go because she would have stayed parked. I would have got the 1-1. He had to go forward. The lead was there for him. And she worked pretty hard, Golden Goddess, off the gate. So I think Natalie thought, listen, take the trail behind the right one. On its previous run the week before, I agree with Michael, you would have thought Golden Goddess would have picked her up. What it does show you is there's very little between these 3 fillies. I mean, Dream About Me got beaten by Golden Goddess the week before. Golden Goddess got thumped by Piccadilly Princess at Auckland. So these are having turn about, but in a different sequence. I think Dream About Me is probably slightly better than the other 2, but come barrier draw, there's very little between them.
You know, I think the clear way of looking at this is Golden Goddess's performance, because she's the one the punters jumped on, and quite enormously, is the fact that she's underperformed because Piccadilly Princess has had a significantly harder run and finished alongside her. For me, this was exaggerated by the fact that Golden Goddess was, by her standards, not as good as the start before. She gets another crack this week, fellas. Here's the Oaks market. She's 260, but when we roll this down, we'll now see that in the bookmaker's mind, Dream About Me is the favourite. Is she? still the best bet or best chance on the second line?
Well, she's going to have to be significantly better again because she has to come round them. There's no doubt in my mind Golden Goddess will be leading, and I'm pretty sure there won't be any handsy-uppy this week.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think she'll lead.
Well, I think Golden Goddess is better in front.
Yeah, I don't know. I was always a massive fan of her staying criteria. I think that was probably held up in the Oaks at Auckland, where she got fairly beaten by Piccadilly Princess. I think the 2,600 metres is my worry about Golden Goddess at the moment.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I really thought she was a great star, but I've got my concerns that Art Major versus the two Betters Delight fillies. I think Piccadilly Princess of the three is the best staying filly.
She was outstanding.
She proved it in the Oaks. She was the one that moved 3 wide in that race, and she was still within 2 lengths of the winner. At $5.50 versus the $1.70, if she got the better trip, I could see her winning this race.
The other thing too is this. Last week, quoted in the Herald Harness Racing New Zealand website and by you on the day, Mark Purdon thought Golden Goddess was the better winning chance.
Yep.
Now, we've got two ways of looking at this. He got it wrong. My hand up. I got it wrong. And to be honest, so did you.
Yeah, we all did.
Yeah,
we all
all
got it
tipped
wrong. And Mark Purdon got it wrong. And when you deal with him all the time, 4 or 5 times you ask him about big races and he'll say, 4 of them will get right, but he got that one wrong. The second thing is, if we want to start jumping up and down about him making predictions, he could just go dummy miles on us. He could say, they don't need the media. They can say, we're not going to talk to you. Leave it at that. So I'm willing to see him get some wrong, even though when it causes a big market
Sorry, boys,
move.
but as an analyst, you sit here on a Wednesday night tipping a race on Saturday, 3 days out, Golden Goddess is barrier 1. You're thinking she's the leader, so that's what you're tipping.
Yeah.
It didn't unfold that way.
No, it didn't. Oh well, she'll get a chance, Dream About Me, to do the double, the last to do that. Close relation, Adore Me, of course. The 68th running of the Breeders' Oaks will be on Saturday. Let's go to the other feature of the day, the richest race of the day, the $200,000 PGG Wrightson Final. And again, the All-Stars were to the fore.
Next wider out on the track is Pacing Major, but it's More the Better. 2 in front of Mitch Maguire. Pacing Major stomping home. Ultimate Machete went to 3rd, but More the Better is going to be too good, and More the Better wins it. Has beaten Pacing Major, Ultimate Machete, and Mitch Maguire.
And joined by Mark Purdon, of course, as a trainer, has won this race 9 times now. By my reckoning, that's another New Zealand record as well. But he had to be the best today, even though he had the draw to work with, Mark.
Yeah, he did, Greg. Yeah, I had to burn him hard early and eventually letting that Zach go and then coming back round him. But I'd certainly, the first 400 would have been very, very quick.
Yeah, it was. You've gone about 2:18 and change here. I know the track's very quick, but it's still quite blustery out there, and he's done it all himself.
Yeah, that's right, Greg. Yeah, you couldn't take it away from him. I know there was horses probably closing on him at the end, but he's entitled to be feeling the pinch by then.
Those horses closing in were from your stable as well. Pacing Major's gone very well, and another trifecta in a feature race here today. So the team's in fine fettle, aren't they?
Yeah. Thanks, Greg. Yeah, no, they are, and credit to all the team that work with us too. Though we've got a great team of people, and the end results here, and then they perform.
Some pretty significant owners in this one too. One elder statesman who'll be tuned in and enjoying this as well. It must be a great thrill to be winning these races for your dad.
Yeah, he had plans of being down here, but his health just wasn't quite good enough. So no doubt he'll be in front of the TV like Sir David Levine, and they were cheering him on.
Another super day for you, Mark. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Greg.
1.3 seconds inside Isaiah's previous national record. It was a very windy day on Saturday, and I know there's been a few people jumping on what a poor start it was. It was incredibly difficult as we see Mitch Maguire running off the gate there, and More the Better, the only one anywhere near the gate. The wind was howling, guys. And earlier in the day, Michael, he'd gone to the stewards, Peter Lamb, and said, look, it's really difficult. It's like a plane. The wings go out, what happens? It starts rocking. That's what happened with the mobile gate there. So whilst it didn't look a great start, there was very little they could do about it.
Well, it was a pathetic start, but that's not Peter Lamb's fault. What can he do? I mean, these people are professionals. These are the best drivers in the country, or most of them. I mean, if they couldn't get up on the gate with 2-year-olds, and obviously Zach clearly was up on the gate, then it must have been windy, because they haven't forgotten how to drive.
I did speak to a couple of drivers, Michael. Blair Orange said to me...
Well, he has some clue what he's doing.
Look, he said with Mongolian Storm he was on, he said, look, couldn't even get near it. And in the last race, incidentally, he drove AFL and it was in front. He said the last time into the back straight, thought it was going to get blown off its feet.
I mean, Peter Lamb doesn't have the option there to call that a false start. The drivers don't want to go up to the gate. The RIU have the option to find them. Obviously, the wind was the reason for that. So there's there's probably not much of a case to answer. It didn't look good. Beaten drivers I'll be interested in here, Greg, because I'm starting to wonder whether More the Better's just better than these horses.
All right, so let's get to those in behind Mark Purden's very, very good juvenile.
Geez, a classy wee animal. We just can't get a draw, can he?
No, he won a great race today. I sort of probably knew once More the Better had got back to the front there, he's going to be awfully hard to beat. But, credit to my guy, he made up good ground down the lane. And, next week, just a good barrier draw, and I think he'll reverse the role.
Tim, although he's run well today, he looks as though he's got 3-year-old written all over him.
Yeah, that's right. He's a big boy, and today was a big step in the right direction. Obviously, full credit to Mark and Ellie. They put the half lines on today, and he's really responded. He found the line good. He's still a little bit big and goofy, but you look at the two that beat him home. You got to take your head off to him.
Not much of him, Zach, but he's done well.
Oh, he's a horse with a lot of heart and a lot of gate speed. He got off pretty well and put himself in a position to be handy at the finish, and he stuck to his guns. He's burned hard early and finished the race off well.
Amazing, huh?
So another very professional performance from More the Better. The question will be, can Pacing Major bridge the gap?
Well, he's got the draw this week to do that, but he had the draw there at Alexandra Park inside More the Better as well. I don't think it'll make a difference myself. I think he's clearly at this stage a little bit better than Pacing Major. Of the Breton Brigade, I thought Vasari was very good. Now, he was only 4 lengths off them and sat parked out of that very strong wind. He's not ideally drawn this week, but again, Purden domination in that race. They run 1, 2, 4, 5, didn't they? Something like that. So, yeah, super run.
Yep, top 3 again for them. It was, 2 trifectas in the 2 features. But let's have a look at the sires this week, and it is the 32nd running of this event. Incredibly, Michael, there's only been 4 previous horses in the 32 sale series into the sires final that have actually done the double. So it's not an easy thing to do.
And we saw last year Lazarus was unable to do it. It's so hard to get the right luck. I think More the Better's got a great chance of doing so. And again, you get back to this thing. If Pacing Major leads here, would he hand up to More the Better? Probably. So would you take $1.80 More the Better in front? Mark keeps telling me Pacing Major and More the Better, there's nothing between them. On what I've seen, like Craig, I think More the Better's the better horse. But this week, I think Pacing Major will get his chance. Very hard to go past them in this race or even the Jules fellas because they've been so dominant and the gap tends to be so big. Remarkably, first 4 drivers home in the Neblia Fillies final, also the first 4 drivers home in the same order in the 2-year-old race.
Yeah, exactly. So going into this week, would you take $1.80?
Yeah, I would.
Yep.
I think I would. I think he'll probably find the front at some stage of the race, and I think he is just a little bit better than Pacing Major. His Grand Dam is the Grand Dam of Christian Cullen, this horse. So he's got a bit of breeding beside him, and I really like him. I think he's one of those betters delights that will just keep getting better and better. The Art Major about Pacing Major got him up and going early. He's now going to have to continue it on a little bit more.
Yep, all right, so very similar to the 3-year-old filly section. Just before we go to the break, Michael, Victoria announcing some news around their carnival.
Yeah, Summer of Glory Carnival, so the big one, late January, February, changing. The first night pretty much stays the same. Victoria Cup is the first night, and the Trotting Grand Prix, the race that Speeding Spur ran second in this year. They're 22.40. The big changes on the second night. Hunter Cup, 32.80 stand becomes 27.60 from the mobile. Now that had to happen because obviously there's no more standing starts in Victoria. What you think about that? That's for another day. It will be a better field now because the Bow Tides and the Lenny the Sharks of the world, fellas, wouldn't go to a standing start. So it works. It's the right thing to do if you take mobiles or take standing starts out of play. The other big change, Great Southern Star, 27.60 metres, mobile. No more elite lot, heats and final on the same night, goes to a one-off race. It wasn't working as a heats and final. The field wasn't available till too late in the night, midnight New Zealand time. Nobody wanted to bet into it. The winner out of all this, Monbay. Monbay gets to go to the Grand Prix and the Great Southern Star, doesn't have to race twice in a night, no Speeding Spur. If he stays well, Monbay's got some awfully juicy stuff to look forward to.
All right, we'll take a short break here on your box seat. Question for you, what was the last horse, 2-year-old, to do the sales into the sires double? We'll confirm that for you after this short break.